Hello and welcome into another video on the Ball Knowers podcast. I'm Jack Keating, and today we got some NFL playoff predictions. All 6 wildcard games, all 4 divisional games, both the conference championships, and then the Super Bowl. This is where you need to go to, you know, get your predictions before this weekend. Maybe know who to start in your fantasy playoff games if you're in a league for that. I am. I know I am. To get your bets in or whatever it is. Just you know that I'm about to go 10. I'm about to go 13-0 right here. That's all I got to tell you. Before I start, I will say I've gone 6-0 multiple times in the last few years on the wild card round. I think last year I went 5-1. The year before I went 6-0. The year before I went 6-0. So I'm pretty good at this stuff. We'll say that. But the 6 games, and before we get into it, I'll say make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like down below. Comment what other videos I should make. It's been a little while since I made my last video. I haven't talked too much NFL, haven't talked too much NBA. I got a lot of takes to get off my chest. So if you got any ideas, let me know down below. But the 6 games we got in the wild card. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know, we got Panthers, Rams, Eagles, Niners, Bears, Packers. In the AFC, we got Steelers, Texans, Jags, Bills, Patriots, Chargers, both Seahawks and Broncos getting the 1 seed bye this year. And I think we're in for a great playoff game. Before I get into my picks, I'll just give my overall feeling on these playoffs. I'm still not over Mahomes' injury and the Chiefs not making it. Still feels super weird to me. I don't think it'll really feel, it won't really hit until the playoffs start. And we don't see him out there. But I mean, we haven't seen him not in the conference championship or the Super Bowl in since 2018, I believe. So it's been a long time, and it certainly feels weird that he's not going to be in the Super Bowl, or in the conference championship, or in the wild card, or anything. But this is a chance for basically everybody in the playoffs to create their legacy. Outside of Stafford and Rodgers and Hurts, I'm pretty sure nobody's won a Super Bowl before. Yeah, I would be correct, quarterbacks wise. And obviously there's other players too, but it's a real clean slate for a lot of guys here. I'm really excited for this playoffs. Like, I think this is the most confused I've felt in a long time. And I think most people could share that sentiment, is that it's so wide open on really both sides, especially the AFC side. And we'll get to the AFC second. But I don't want this video to go on too long, so I'll get into it pretty quick here. But I just want to, put it out there beginning that I'm really excited for this playoffs. I think we're in for a really, really exciting couple weekends here. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, not waste any more time, we could get right on into the projections. And we'll start out with in my opinion, the most obvious game of the week, which is Panthers Rams. I'm just, I'll make it pretty quick here. I'm taking the Rams. They are 10.5-point favorites, which on the road, 10.5-point favorites is just straight up rude. The Panthers beat the Rams this season, and so for them to be favorited that heavy to me is a little bit crazy. 10.5 is certainly a lot, and I like the Panthers. Bryce Young, I think, looked decent this season. They've already, if it wasn't obvious enough, they said that they're coming back with Canales and Bryce Young again next year. Ted McMillan really impressed me this year. Rico Dowdle stepped up big for them, and they're a good team for the future. They won their division with a losing record. We'll say that. It's not something that you should be proud of it. You make the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. That's exciting. No doubt about it. You're going to get Cam Newton there. He's going to bang the drum. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good atmosphere. But, I mean, the Rams are just simply a better team. Top to bottom, offensively, defensively, across the board, coach, everything. They are just a better, superior team. I don't see the Panthers being able to stop both Puka and Devontae for the entire game, even with a pretty solid cornerback group with J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson. I still don't really trust them to be able to fully thwart this Rams offense. Kyron Williams has been really good this year. Matt Stafford is personally my MVP, and I think that he will win the award whenever it comes out. I just don't see how the Panthers get this win, and I know they did in the regular season, but I'm not reading that much into it in this game. I just don't see. I'm pulling up the score here. Maybe I should have had it ready, but I don't have any notes here. The Panthers won 31-28 on November 30th. Um, yeah, and, that's big win for the Panthers. Stafford did not look that good in this game, honestly, and Bryce Young did look good. Both running backs ran the ball pretty well for them, and like Jalen Coker looked good and whatever. But I just don't. I think the Rams are just a better team across the board. I trust McVay. I trust Stafford more. Um, a part of me will be rooting for the Panthers. I'll be honest. I kind of want to see them win a Super Bowl. Will it happen? I would. If the Panthers go and win the Super Bowl, I implore you to come back to this video and just trash on me as much as you possibly want. Hit the dislike, troll me in the comments, tell me how wrong I am. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be right here. Panthers lose to the Rams. I'm not going to give you score predictions. I'm really bad at score predictions, but I'll probably just keep going back to like 24-17 or something, basic like that. But I don't see a world where the Panthers win this game, honestly. And it's hard to beat a team twice in the season. And we've got the Rams Seahawks next in the second round if that's what it's going to shape up to be. And I just don't like. It's hard to beat a team twice, and it's hard to beat a team three times. But a non-divisional game twice, it's not easy to do, especially if you were the underdog and got it done once. I don't expect it to happen twice. I'm taking the Rams. Moving along, we got Eagles 49ers. And if that first decision wasn't selection wasn't obvious enough, I'm not really going too deep into the advanced stats and stuff in this one. It's more just kind of what my gut is thinking. Just somewhat surface level thoughts. I'll go a little bit deeper if I can, but yeah, that at least for that one, I don't really see much of a need to dive too deep into it. Eagles Niners. Now this is probably the game that I would say third most confident in. I don't really believe that much in the Eagles, honestly. I think the defense is a little bit wishy-washy. I think Hurts has been up and down throughout the season. Saquon really has not impressed me much at all this year. Yards per carry is down and just has not been running the ball that well. The O-line is very clearly taking a step back. Getting Lane Johnson back for this game is going to be huge, no doubt about it. He's almost their MVP is how important he is to the team. But do I see them beating the Niners? Now the Niners, I've seen a lot of people having them as their Super Bowl team. Me personally, I don't know if I'm going to have them that far. I think that they are a little bit one dimensional on offense, with just a lot of dink and dunks to CMC and a lot of passes to Kittle, and I don't believe in their receiver group that much to be Super Bowl caliber. But yeah, it's worked all season long. CMC was almost 1,000 for the second time in his career, which would be the first time anybody's done it twice. He's only one of three people who's ever done it to begin with. Kittle was great this season. He missed early on, but he was still great. Purdy has been really on the money down the stretch here in the season. And yeah, if they could get past the Eagles, there's talks about getting back Fred Warner in the divisional round, which, I mean, you're not going to see a bigger mid-playoff acquisition than the Niners getting back Fred Warner. Even with the Eagles getting back Lane Johnson, it would just matter so much to them. This defense is just not good. It's not that good, at least. The pressures, it's been simply abysmal. They're I believe the worst pressure team in the NFL. Their leading sacks leader this season was Clelin Farrell. I think he had 4 sacks, and Bryce Huff had 4 as well. And that kind of goes to say a lot. Obviously, Bosa out for the year too. I'm excited for this game though. It's in Philly, but I feel like I'm gonna go with the Niners here. I believe that they are favored here. Let me pull up the odds for these games while I'm talking. But I feel like I'm leaning 49ers here just because I just trust them. I trust them more really. I don't think the Eagles are. I just don't see Super Bowl for them. I know that they went last year, but this team feels just drastically different to me. I have much less confidence in the Eagles this season than I did last year. And it's not even like they had a ton of injuries across the board that, completely tanked their team and their ability to win or anything, right? It's just overall, I think just different parts of the team I'm just less confident in. I'm far less confident in the offense this year than years before. Hurts as a passer this season has not impressed me at all. The offensive play calling has been really basic. And like I said earlier, Saquon, if he's not, I mean, last year he had 2,000 rushing yards. We've only seen that a handful of times, and he was just so good. And if he's not at that level, I don't know if this offense is good enough to beat the Niners, who have just gone on shootout after shootout after shootout. And I don't know if the Eagles are ready for a shootout with the Niners. Niners are plus 4.5 for this game. I think that's a pretty disrespectful to this team. So that is the first upset I'm going with in this one. Second away team to win. First upset. I'm going with the 49ers to beat the Eagles. Next up, Bears Packers. Now this is an exciting one, because obviously the last time they played was the DJ Moore or Caleb Williams to DJ Moore, like 55, 60-yard bomb that was just perfectly on the money. Caleb Williams is really playing just perfect football the last few months here, really consistently throughout the season, but really that last month and a half, 2 month stretch of the season, he was just winning game after game. They skidded a little bit. Skidded. They lost a nail biter to the Niners. Shouldn't have kicked a field goal. And then they lose to the Bears, sorry, the Lions, but who really cares? Yeah, so they beat the Packers in overtime. In Chicago, but then earlier on in the season they played the Packers, and I just want to make sure I know the score for sure. Yeah, in Green Bay, and it was 28-21 just 2 weeks earlier. And so the home team won both of these, and I think that is going to play a big factor in me choosing my team. I overall, I this season I haven't had much faith in the Packers. I lost a decent bit of faith in Jordan Love. Um, I, I wasn't even necessarily that high on him before the season, but this season he just really didn't impress me. He didn't improve enough to me for me to see him as one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Like I think that he could be. Um, Josh Jacobs has been in and out of the lineups. He's saying that he feels the healthiest he's felt in weeks. We'll see how true that is. I mean, the time off is certainly going to help for him. Losing Micah Parsons, though, there were few injuries this season that I think mattered to a team as much as that one did, and you could see it in this defense really just fell apart once he went down. The pressure went down, the rush defense went down, and I think it's gonna play a big part in this game. I think it's played a part in multiple games of the Packers this season, and I'm going with the Bears in this one. I think I trust the Bears more. I trust them to be a team that could go into a shootout, a team that their defense is not particularly good, but they can they lead the league in takeaways, and that's something another thing for the Packers that I don't really trust them to do is to turn the ball over or to make Caleb turn the ball over multiple times in this game. I don't know if they will do that. I could see Jordan Love turning the ball over once or twice in this game though. I think I trust the play calling from the Bears more. Ben Johnson, I think, just has had a fantastic season. Colston Loveland breakout late into the season. Luther Burden has looked amazing at times without Roma Dunze in the lineup. DJ Moore has started to see his name called a little bit more. And then obviously with Swift and Monungai, you've got a two-headed running back monster duo that Ben Johnson just recreated with the Lions. I mean, and almost, maybe not even almost, it was better than the Lions. I don't know if the numbers say that, but at times it certainly felt like that the Bears duo was better than the Lions. And I wouldn't say that they're a more talented duo in any sense. Even though they do have Kyle Monungai, Rutgers legend, who I shouted out in the draft pod with Brian Drake, and I told you that you should drafted him in your last round. Just a reminder. Just saying I know ball. But back to the Bears Packers. Home team won this game both times, and in the end, I think I just trust the Bears more. They have that. They have the moxie and they have the confidence that I feel like a young team like them should have. Whereas I don't, and that confidence has even oozed onto me and given me the confidence to pick them. I've picked them to win a lot of the games throughout the season and things like that. They've been pretty high in my power rankings week after week, where I post those on Twitter underscore Jack Keating. You should follow me over there as well. Um, I, I've been pretty low on the Packers this season, and it's not going to stop here. I think that they're a first round exit. This is a game that I feel somewhat confident in. I could certainly see the Packers winning it. I don't think it's out of the question. The only game that I really feel is like zero chance for the other team to win is the Panthers beating the Rams. I would be so floored if the Panthers win. But Eagles beating the Niners, Packers beating the Bears, I could certainly see it. I give the Niners maybe a 65%, 70 at the most percent chance, and I feel the Bears are about the same, 70% chance. I'd probably say the Niners are like 60, 65. Um, but yeah, so that gives us Niners, Seahawks, and Rams, Bears in the second round. Do I want to go conference by conference? No, we'll stick with the wild card. We'll stick with the wild card. We'll do the whole wild card. We'll do the whole divisional, whole conference championship. Go to the Super Bowl. So you see our four teams: a 6-1, a 5, and a 2. Now headed over to the AFC side: Texans, Steelers, Bills, Jags, Chargers, Patriots. This first one I feel like is pretty easy. It's probably easy for most people to pick this decision. I'm going with the Texans. Now, oh, and I didn't give you the odds for Bears Packers. My apologies for that. Bears Packers is plus 1.5 for Chicago. I like that too. I would certainly take Chicago plus 1.5. But Texans Steelers, you're looking at a minus 3.5 for Houston. And this is a team that I've been so high on for months now. I was really early onto the bandwagon for the Texans. I'm seeing tons of people have them as their Super Bowl pick, and it's kind of making me scared for to have them as mine. Um, in this moment, I still don't have my Super Bowl pick, and I'm making it as the video goes on. I some of these wild card games I've decided in my head, but after the wild card, it's basically undecided for me. I haven't even really put that much thought into it besides who I could see winning the Super Bowl. And I've said the Texans for months now that I really think they could win it all. They are the best defense in the league, in my opinion. It's either them or Seattle, and I favor the Texans a little bit more. It's just their offense that scares me. It's C.J. Stroud. How much do I trust him to not turn the ball over? How much do I trust the ball? How much do I trust him to have the ball in his hands in a game-winning drive scenario, or just to keep the ball safe? He has multiple games with just some of the most jaw-dropping. How in the world did you decide that was a good pass kind of passes this season? And like, is that somebody that I could trust to win me a Super Bowl for my selection? I don't know if it is. On the other side of this game, though, you got the Steelers, who similar to the Texans, great defense, a worse defense than the Texans, but a really good defense, and that's been their thing for years now. Still with Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers has been playing some decent ball this season. I mean, I think he's been up and down. I think he certainly has dipped off in the second half of the season, kind of like what we saw in years prior, where the age kind of gets to him. You can imagine that. I I have loved what I've seen from Kenneth Gainwell. I think that he's been fantastic this season. Just kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he's been on the Eagles for a long time. Was a decent player, a gadget guy, and then he goes to the Steelers and he becomes basically a receiver one almost. 1,000 yards from the guy. Really impressive season from him. Um, I think losing Darnell Washington is going to be a pretty big loss for them. Getting DK back is going to be huge, though. Huge. And the fact that they beat the Ravens without him was very impressive. Um, but do I trust Aaron Rodgers to get it done at home versus the Texans? Now, you know what it is about the Steelers at home on Monday night. They haven't lost in like 34 years or whatever. And then the Texans, I saw some stat. It was something along the lines of, it had something to do with like, the playoff games. This is the first non-Saturday afternoon playoff game, which is a big deal. And then there was something that they're going into this game with where they're undefeated as well. I don't remember exactly what it is. But there's two records. It's the Texans are on like a 9-game winning streak. And the Steelers are undefeated at home for like 30 years on Monday night. But it raises the question. The Texans and Jaguars have similar questions. They've gone on, I believe, a 8 and a 9-game winning streak each, and no team has ever won a Super Bowl going into the playoffs with that lengthy of a winning streak. And so it poses the question of like, can they win essentially 12 or 13 games in a row? I don't know if they can. I mean, that's basically a perfect season. It's almost going 16, 17 and 0 in the regular season, which we've only seen done once. And then that team didn't even win the Super Bowl because they will tell you how hard it is to win all of the playoff games and then the Super Bowl. Like, it's perfect. It's only happened once for a reason, Um, I can't trust. I can't put my trust in the Steelers offense, and I think the Texans offense is just good enough to get it done. Getting T.J. Watt back is going to be big for the Steelers, but I mean, they already got him back, but like getting him back truly when he gets more rest and everything, and the extra day will help for sure. Um, but I'm going with the Texans here. I just trust their defense more. I think that this is a swarming unit. They've got if Miles Garrett didn't break the sack record, I think you've got a depoy candidate in Will Anderson. I think he's an All-Pro this year. Daniil Hunter's been amazing, and then on the back end, Jalen Petrie and Derek Stingley, and you can go on and on. This is a really talented unit. Um, D'Amico Ryans has just been a fantastic coach this season. I gotta go Texans here. It's close for me, but because it sounds weird. I mean, I was so high in the Texans. They've been top 3, top 4 in my power rankings for over a month now, and people replying to my tweets or DMing me saying how stupid I was for having them so high. Um, but I believe in this team, and I'm going with the Texans at least for the first round. We're at 20 minutes here. Let's kind of keep it moving here. I don't want to keep this video too long. Jags Bills. This is the toughest one of the week, and in this moment, I'm like 90% sure who I'm going to take, but let's see how my monologue goes, and let's see if I convince myself otherwise. So the Jags are at home here. Offensively have just blown up the last month, 2 months. Trevor Lawrence is playing some of his best ball. Not even some of it. It is his best ball of his career. He's really looked fantastic. He had, the back-to-back weeks versus the Broncos and the Jets, where he threw 10 interceptions. He threw 10 touchdowns with no interceptions, no turnovers. And then since then he has not impressed me a ton. Since then, I will say, um, he, I'm a little bit worried about him going to the playoffs still. And the outbreak, the breakout, sorry, of Parker Washington has been really good to see. BTJ starting to look a little bit better off of a disaster season, simply put. It's been a good sight to see too. Getting Brenton Strange back is massive. And ETN's looked really good this year. Bashal Tutin's been a nice touch. They've got a good defense, and Liam Cohen again. He's my coach of the year. I think he has just had a coaching masterclass this season, and probably would have been Shanahan coach of the year had they beaten Seattle and gotten the 1 seed. But I do lean Liam Cohen. But on the Bills side, I mean, this is the team that has been winning the division year after year for I think 5 or 6 years in a row. They have made the divisional or the conference championship for that same length, if not a little bit longer. Josh Allen has been, as a staple to the playoffs for the last half decade or a half decade plus. Similar to Mahomes, and without Mahomes, without Lamar, there's nobody that has stopped Allen before that is in his way right now. This is as clear of a path as he's ever had in his career to go to the Super Bowl. But the things that are stopping him is he's got a hurt foot. He has not been able to run the ball that well, and throwing looks a little bit shaky too. Like he clearly is being limited from this foot. This defense is not that good anymore. The rush defense was all-time bad level for a long portion of this season, and it's still one of the worst in the league. And the Jaguars can run the ball on anybody. ETN has had multiple 100-yard games. He's had multiple multi-touchdown games, and this passing offense can light up everybody. And they've got BTJ, Parker Washington. They traded for Jacoby Myers midseason, which was a fantastic move. He's been amazing for them. And he got a great extension. A 3-year $60 is great money for him. I would assume Wandale is probably looking at about a similar deal for my Giants. But, it comes down to, can Josh Allen get it done? And I trust Allen more than I trust Trevor. And I know it doesn't just come down to quarterbacks. There's a lot more to it. I truly don't even trust this Bills team that much. I don't even think that they are that good of a team. But they are just the comeback kids. They've come back against the Ravens and the Bengals. They came back 21-0 at halftime against the Patriots. And I mean, but the Jags have Cam Little, who can kick a 70-yard field goal. You got to get to midfield, which is just 1 first down, and you have 3 points guaranteed. I really think there's a valid argument for both of these sides, 100%. Let me just look at the odds really quick. If I could just pull it up any day now, just any day. I do think ultimately I do know my decision. Me talking about me breaking it down didn't change my mind. I just want to look at the odds if this will work. Thank you. It does. Bills are -1.5. That's so tough. I'm not gonna. I usually put all 6 teams, all money lines, into a parlay. I don't know if I'll put the Bills this year or the Jaguars. I really don't know. I kind of spoiled my pick there. I'm going with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills. I just trust this team more. The Jags are a little bit shaky to me, and I'm just kind of worried about them. Like, I don't know if this is a unit that I could see going deep in the playoffs, and I think they have a super bright future. Trevor looked really good this season, but like, do I trust if it comes down to a shootout or a last second drive or just one turnover from one of these quarterbacks cost them the game? I would if you told me one of these guys has a Trevor or Allen has a turnover that costs the team the game, whether it could be the second quarter just because the other guy never throws a pick or fumbles. Um, I would say it was Trevor. I would expect that you saw Trevor throw an interception at one point. Um, it was the Colts game in the second last week that kind of worried me a little bit. Uh, and I know they're on a super long winning streak and all that. I'm going with the Bills though. I'm just betting on Allen, and I think it is fair to say that. I think it comes down to which quarterback you trust more because both of these rosters are similar, skilled enough, and Allen just makes up for so much. He could have so little on his team, similar to Mahomes, and it doesn't matter. He's just gonna find a way to win. Um, I think this is game of the week. I'm really, really, really excited for Bills Jags, and I think there's a chance that you're looking at the Super Bowl team, at least out of the AFC, if not the winner. The winner of this game very well could be that team. Um, who will I pick them? Who knows? We'll see. Let's try to keep this under an hour though, so keep it moving. Finish the wild card in 30 minutes. That'd be nice. Patriots Chargers is the final game of the weekend, or at least that we're going over. Um, and the odds are looking at 3.5 points favorites for the home team of the Patriots, and I think that's pretty disrespectful to New England. I mean, this is a good team, and so are the Chargers. I will say, I don't want to disrespect what the Chargers have done this season, but I mean, the Patriots won 14 games. I get that they have the same amount of wins over teams over 500 than the Giants do, um, but I trust this team. I think Drake May is a really good quarterback. I think Vrabel has done a fantastic job. They've got good weapons for him to throw to. This running back duo between Stevenson and Henderson has been amazing, especially this past few weeks. Stevenson is playing out of his mind. Ramondre Stevenson has been amazing. And I think that could really play into this Chargers game here. Um, some things on the Chargers side I worry about. Herbert's been pretty banged up this season. He's got the hand injury. He's got a finger injury. He's kind of messed up all over. Um, and then Hampton still. I'm filming this on Wednesday, the 8th. Hampton still hasn't practiced, and so when he missed Tuesday, I was thinking, all right, he missed last week and he missed his Tuesday practice. I'm thinking it's fine. They're resting him. Now it's Wednesday. He's missing. We're getting a little close to game time here. I know they're playing Sunday night, which is pretty shocking. The Chargers are playing Sunday night, but if Hampton doesn't play, I'm very confident the Patriots win this game. And if he does play, I'm still pretty confident the Patriots win this game. Whether you have the Patriots as your Super Bowl team or not, you think they're frauds or whatever, I just don't truly see the argument for the Chargers to win this game. Losing both Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt this season is just so crushing. I mean, this is the worst offensive line in the playoffs, and I don't know if it's even that particularly close. Like, this unit is not that good. I think it's just straight up like bad without these two bookend tackles who are two of the best in the NFL. Even Slater, who has only played like 4 games in his career, you can already tell is one of the best in the NFL. Um, but I'm going with the Patriots here. I think I lean them for coaching. I lean them for quarterback. I lean them for the running game. The weapons are similar enough to me that I don't think there's a massive advantage for the Chargers. And defensively, I go with the Patriots. I think this is a unit that is going to be able to shut down Justin Herbert. They're going to be able to get pressure on him, and we saw. I love Justin Herbert. One of my favorite guys in the NFL. One of the most overhated guys in the NFL for sure. But we saw what he did against the Jags last year, or whenever last year, 2 years ago, when they played in the playoffs. We saw what the Chargers did against the Jags, specifically Justin Herbert. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that he's going to do that again this year, right? Like I don't think he's throwing 4 interceptions against the Patriots, but like he could throw 2. Like I don't think it's out of the question at all. Um, I've only picking 2 home teams to win, which is kind of crazy, but whatever. I don't want to. I don't want to sell it short. I mean, that was only about 2 minutes on the Patriots and Chargers game, but I just don't. I don't see the hype with the Chargers. I don't. I really think that they are one of the weaker teams in the playoffs this year, and that's not a slight on them as much as it sounds because I think it's just a strong playoffs, and somebody has to be the second or third or weakest team, right? Um, But I just don't. I don't think that they're better than the Patriots. I think that if they had drawn, the Steelers, or I think they could beat the Texans. I think they could fight with the Jags, which would be pretty funny to see again. I think they could fight with the Bills, but I think the Patriots is just a really bad draw for them. And I think that the Patriots answer against a lot of the Chargers' weaknesses, and I think that they have solutions for a lot of the Chargers' strengths. And I don't, I, you know, I'm taking the Patriots here pretty confidently, and I think I'm just going to leave it at that. Moving along. Let me take a quick drink here. Um, Moving along. Niners, Seahawks, Rams, Bears, Texans, Patriots, Bills, Broncos is your divisional round. And this is where it gets interesting. So over the last few weeks, I'll give you what I'm thinking here. For just kind of all of these games a little bit, but we'll focus on NFC at first. I've said the winner of the Super Bowl is likely, very likely, to come out of the NFC West. So I've got all three of the teams that are in the NFC West that are in the playoffs still alive. Three of the four teams. But I also have hyped up the Bears a decent bit. I think that they have true Super Bowl potential. This offense is really good, and I 100% trust Caleb Williams against any team. I think that he's as franchise quarterback as it gets. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He's top 10 kind of guy. And then it's like, do I trust Sam Darnold, the guy who's had 20 turnovers this season? I get, that they throw the ball the 30th. They have the 30th most pass attempts in the NFL this season on average. They like to run the ball a lot. They like to keep it out of Sam Darnold's hands. But he still found a way to get 20 turnovers this season. Do I trust him to win 3 games and not turn the ball over a lot? Because if you turn the ball over to the Niners, which is not a unit that gets a lot of turnovers, I think they had like the second or third least in the NFL. But if you do, I think you lose. This is not a team that you can let up possessions against. They will, go for shootouts against you. And I'm pulling up their record this season. So the Seahawks beat them in the last week of the season, 13-3. That was such a snooze game. And the other time they played was in week 1, and the Niners won 17-13. So you can't take much from that game, but you can learn from that last game, which was deciding for the 1 seed. Darnold looked okay. Kenneth Walker had a really solid game. Charbonnet had a couple good runs throughout that game as well. The Purdy interception was pretty terrible. CMC just got completely stalwart of this game. He looked like just useless at times. The Niners just couldn't get anything moving. That was really what I took away from that game. And I think we go back to what I had about in that Niners Eagles game. I think the Niners offense is somewhat one dimensional. I guess you could say it's 2-dimensional because they have CMC and Kittle, but it's 1-dimensional in the sense that you kind of know what they're going to do. And yes, that really worked for them. They've dominated throughout the season on offense because they know it works. They get 3-4 yards, dink, 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 dink. We're down the field. We score a touchdown. But I don't know if you can do that against Seattle. This defense is. I think it's probably I said the Texans are the best in the NFL. I think the Seahawks are the best. They're so close to me. Any sentence I could go back and forth. But the Seahawks offense, I think it's also somewhat stoppable, and I guess it hasn't really been this season, but it just looks like it should be stoppable. I mean, it just stopped JSN, which it's easier said than done. He had the 8th most receiving yards of all time in a season this year. So clearly nobody can stop him. But just, do I trust Darnold to not turn the ball over? And I'm going to say I do. I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. And had it been another matchup, which maybe we'll talk about in a few minutes here, I don't know if I take Seattle. But because it's the Niners, a team that can't get pressure, that can't get sacks, and doesn't turn the ball, and doesn't get a lot of turnovers on defense, I think that's a perfect recipe for Sam Darnold to be able to win. Because he's a quarterback who is awful under pressure. Once he gets pressured or sacked, he's throwing picks. He's fumbling, he's throwing picks, he's taking 12-yard sacks. He's doing everything that you can imagine a bad quarterback to do. He's doing it all. And so, do I trust Darnold to do that against the Niners? To avoid all of those things? I think I do. I think I do. He did it enough in the Week 17 game that I trust him to be able to do it. Conference championship is a different conversation, but I think Seattle gets it done at home in the divisional round. I'm taking Seattle here. Now, and shout out South Carolina legend Nick Emanwari. He's been so good this season. Um, Rams Bears. This is such an exciting game. I've been hoping that we get this game for quite a few weeks now. And I'm decently confident that we're going to see Rams Bears um, at some point in this playoffs. I think you could see it in the conference championship, or you could see it in the divisional. But I think there's a good chance that we're going to see it this playoffs. Um, it's a really good defense versus a really good offense. The Rams have a really good offense as well. The Bears defense is, can get a lot of turnovers, but isn't. It will let up a whole lot of points. Um, they played the season, correct? Or they did not play the season. I completely just lied to you. They did not play the season. Man, oh man, who am I going with here? I. So I'm gonna get my pick right off the rip because I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna do here. I'm going with the Rams. Um, it's it comes down to Stafford and McVay versus Caleb and Ben Johnson. A quarterback coach duo who has won a Super Bowl together. McVay has been to another Super Bowl with Jared Goff, whereas Caleb Williams has never even been to the playoffs, and Ben Johnson has never made it to the Super Bowl in his career. Um, I think the Bears have a super bright future, but I just don't know if they can get past the Rams. I don't think that they have the defense to be able to stop both Devontae Adams and Puka. Maybe Jalen Johnson can stop one of them or limit one of them, but then you still got the other one to deal with. And I think if you stop one, the other one is going for 6 for 100 and a touchdown, And Puka might go for 12 for 225 and 2 touchdowns, So you pick your poison, but like both poisons kill you. And I think that's just kind of the situation of the Bears here. Kyron Williams has been really great this season too. It's another season for 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns for him. I think that's 3 in a row now. Um, and I just don't know if the Bears get it done. I don't know if they have the pressure to get to Stafford consistently. And we've seen Stafford, when he gets pressured, he has kind of crumbled a little bit. We saw that in the Atlanta game. But I just don't know if the Bears are the team to do that. I'm taking the Rams here. And I think we're in for one of the best conference championship games in quite some time between Rams and Seattle. That I really hope we get that game because I mean that Thursday night game was probably my favorite game of the season. It had to be that or the Giants beating the Eagles on Thursday night, but obviously I'm biased there. Or Week 1 Ravens Bills. Those are the games that I will remember forever from this season. And there's a few others as well, but those are the ones that instantly popped in my mind when I think of my favorite games I got to watch this season. And I really hope we get to see it again. I don't expect it to be as good because that was one of the best games I'd ever seen in my life, honestly. But I hope we get to see it again because it was just magical, simply. Let's move on to the AFC though. Texans, Patriots. Whew, this is a tough one. Yeah, I don't want to spoil who I have in the conference championship, but I'll be honest. The winner of this game is going to my Super Bowl. And I almost hope we don't see it in the divisional. I hope we get to see it in the conference championship game. But man, this is such a tough one. This is going to be my toughest game. To pick. I mean, the Texans have the defense. The Patriots have the offense. I would say the Texans' defense is better than the Patriots' offense. But the Patriots' offense is better. The Patriots' defense is better than the Texans' offense by a bigger margin than the Texans' defense is better than the Patriots' offense. I think both teams have a good running back duo. CJ Stroud's been fine enough this season that, again, it comes back to how clean can he be? How few sacks can he take? How few interceptions and fumbles can he give away? And if he doesn't turn the ball over, I think the Texans can win any game against any team. This defense is so good that they can hold just anybody they play to 10 points, right? I mean, you look at I was doing this about a week or so ago, and I'll pull up their schedule here really quick. But the amount of teams that they held to season lows or just very low points is it's astonishing how good this unit has been. I believe that they let up the least amount of points this season for any team. Besides that last week, that week barely, who cared? I mean, 16 to the Chargers, 10 to the Chiefs with Mahomes there, 16 to the Colts, 19 to the Bills, 29 to the Jags, kind of a lot, 18 to the Broncos. I mean, they lose that game, but it's still 18 points, 15 to the Niners, 27 to Seattle. I mean, these are playoff teams, 17 to the Jaguars, right? 20 to the Bucks. They almost made the playoffs. The first week of the season, the Rams scored 14 on them. That was probably one of the lowest, if not the lowest, they scored all season. So Ah, man, man, man. I mean, this defense is so good. I truly think Texans defense is good enough, and especially in a year like this where there's no true powerhouse. There's nobody that you go into the playoffs. I mean, you could feel really confident with the Rams. I think that's understandable. I think you could feel really confident with Seattle, and I think that's understandable. And I think you could feel pretty confident with with the Patriots or maybe the Bills, but not so confident where you're like, there's no chance they're gonna lose, right? Where previous years with Brady or Mahomes, I have certainly felt like there's just no way they're gonna lose the Super Bowl this year. And they typically do, because something just happens and they end up losing for whatever reason. But Patriots at home. I'm going Patriots at home, and I didn't even give much analysis. It seemed based on the way I was talking that it seemed I was gonna go with the Texans. I would assume, but I just trust Drake May more. I think he's a cleaner player. And if this game is, I don't even know, let's say it's 17-13, Patriots are winning, a minute 25 on the clock, two timeouts for the Texans. They got to drive 60 yards to get a touchdown or 80 yards, whatever. Do I trust CJ Stroud to get it done? And the answer is no. I just don't. Not at the moment. And if he proves me wrong, then I'm going to be very excited to see that happen. Um, I just don't know if I trust this unit to get it done. And it sucks because this is a special, special defense. It's been one of my favorite teams to watch this season because of how good this defense is. Um, but I lean the Patriots' way. It's just at home, Foxborough. It's a really, really tough place to play in, especially in the playoffs. I mean, nobody owns the playoffs at home like the Patriots do. I guess the Chiefs kind of too. Um, yeah, that's a really, really, really exciting game, and I hope we get to see that in the playoffs, whether it's the second or the third round. Now, Bills Broncos. Neither of these teams I particularly like in the playoffs. I'm kind of low on both, honestly, and I know it may be weird because I took the Bills to beat the Jaguars in an upset, but right, I don't think it's actually an upset. I think they were 1.5 point favorites, but whatever, doesn't matter. Bills Broncos in Denver. I've been one of the Broncos' biggest haters all season. Honestly, I'll be frank. I don't think Bo Nix is particularly that good. I think he has the the goof gene, the Jared goofball gene, where he just can turn the ball over with the most incredibly terrible, terrible passes you've ever seen. And then he has some games where he'll throw for 250 and two touchdowns and be clean all game, and you'll come away from it like, all right, that wasn't too bad from Bo Nix. Like he kind of impressed me. The real calling card for this team is going to be the defense, obviously. The secondary has been just elite this season. They led the league in sacks. I think they had 70 or close to it. Um, and this is a really special defense. I think there's like four or five really, really good defenses this year, and I think between Seattle, I think the Rams are in that conversation, um, and then the Steelers, the Texans, the Patriots, the Broncos. There's great defenses across the board here. Um, Bills, Broncos. Who do I go with? It's Are we seeing a 1-2 and a 1-5, or are we seeing two divisional matchups in the conference championship? I wonder when the last time that happened was. I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, I like RJ Harvey's. Cortland Sutton started to come onto the scene a little bit more after a really quiet season. Had high hopes after he had a breakout season essentially last year. I mean, it wasn't breakout. We know who he was, but came onto the scene in his greatest fashion last year, and this year just completely silent. I just don't trust Bo Nix, and that's what it's going to come down to. I don't trust Bo Nix. I get that they get one score wins all the time, and like what do they win? 14 games this season. I think 10 or 11 of them were one score wins, or maybe even like 12. It just doesn't matter to me. I think that those one score wins will come back to bite you, and it's typically the next season, or not even typically, but oftentimes it is the next season they revert, and so you win, you go 12-5 and 10 one score wins, and the next year you win like 6 or 7 games because you you can't win one score games every single year. At some point, it's going to come back around. It's a full circle. It always is, and it's going to it's going to hit the other axis. Um, and I trust Allen more. I mean, the foot injury scares me, and I don't trust Sean McDermott honestly at all. But I think that Josh Allen just gets it done in probably what will be a pretty exciting matchup. That'll be a nail biter for sure. It'll come down to the wire. I don't think either team, whether the Broncos win or the Bills win, I don't think that they win by 14, 17. Like it's going to come down to probably who has the ball last. Um, all right, this is a this is an exciting conference championship on both sides. Rams, Seahawks, Bills, Patriots, NFC West matchup, NFC East, or sorry, AFC East matchup. So Rams and Seattle. Let's recap how they fared against each other this season. Um, obviously, I commented earlier saying that Seattle had one of the best Thursday night games of the season versus the Rams, which they did. I think most people can agree on that. If we can just load here a little bit faster, ESPN app, that'd be very nice. So, Sunday, the 16th of November, the Rams win 21-19 in LA. This one's going to be in Seattle if they do play in the conference championship, obviously. And that was a big win at the time. They were both 7-win teams, and so it was pretty important. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions, and it was terrible. I'm remembering this game now. Puka looked pretty good. There weren't many touchdowns being thrown around in this game at all because it was pretty low scoring. Jason had Jason had 9 for 105, and I remember people saying it was like the quietest 9 for 105 game ever, which is pretty true. Like Jason doesn't have bad games. Even when like we've seen him go into the third quarter of games or fourth quarter of games with 0 catches, 1 catch, and you'll be like, oh my god, JSN's getting shut down. And then by the end of the game, he had 8 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. It's like, yeah, he had a great game actually. Like the fourth quarter, he just turned into Michael Jordan and like could not be stopped in any route he ran. And JSN is just one of those players. He is one of the best players in the NFL, and it didn't come out of nowhere. You could have sort of seen this coming last year, and he's built to this year after year. But man, JSN is a special, special talent, no doubt about it. But the Rams have Puka, like they've got their own special talent. Who in the OT game, 38-37, Seattle wins at home. Puka goes for 12 for 225 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of the best receiving games I've ever witnessed in my entire lifetime. I've watched football for 15 years. Like this guy, Puka's one of the best I've ever seen. I don't think I don't need to say that. Like everybody knows it. Darnold threw 2 more interceptions. That puts 6 on the season here. And I think that might be what causes me to lean the Rams' way here is Darnold turning the ball over. I mean, he had 2 interceptions in a win and 4 in a loss. Last year versus the Vikings, he just gets. I mean, honestly, it quite frankly looked like he was a college player that got put into a playoff game. It did not look like he belonged in the playoffs last year, and that's what's going to make me lean the Rams. I'm very high in Seattle. I think that this is a good team. I think Darnold, if he's clean, they probably win this game. If Darnold finishes the game with 0 turnovers, Seattle will win the game. I'll stamp it. I don't think he's going to finish the game with 0 turnovers, and I think that is what is going to cause them to lose. And I see he had 2 turnovers; they still could win. But do you get 100 yards out of Kenneth Walker and almost 100 out of Charbonnet and both score touchdowns and all of these things go your way? I don't know if you do. Um, I'm gonna lean with the Rams. I lean the better quarterback. I lean the better coach, and McDonald's a fantastic coach. I love Mike McDonald, but I think McVay is the best there is in the NFL right now. And I think it's the Rams' year, at least to go on a deep run, if not win it all. I think this is just a really good team, and I mean, I was saying Rams Texans for a while, but clearly I'm not saying Texans anymore. But I'm going with the Rams. I'm taking the Rams. I think that this is just a better team than Seattle. It's close though. This Seattle defense is so good. It pains me to go into this playoffs with all of these elite defenses, and I'm picking the better offense over the defenses because I do think I think there's such a good chance that one of these defenses is going to be the reason that the team wins it. Like a Legion of Boom kind of thing, where like you have a Russell Wilson and he's really good and whatever, but like Legion of Boom got us a Super Bowl win. Like it's. I think that we could see that with the Houston this year. I think we could see that with Seattle, and I really would not be shocked at all if either of those teams wins a Super Bowl. But I'm going with the Rams over Seattle. I talked myself into it. I trust the Rams a little bit more, and if it's not Darnold, if I mean, he's never played for Seattle before, but they both played for the Vikings. If it was like Kirk Cousins, prime Kirk Cousins, not Atlanta, um, or not even prime, it could be 2 years ago, Kirk Cousins. I would say I would take Seattle, but it comes down to Darnold, and I just don't. I mean, he might throw 4 interceptions. We have literally seen it for a fact this season, and that's what it comes down to. It sucks because I like Seattle and I think that they can win it all, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Darnold goes through the playoffs and throws 0 interceptions, and I look like a dumbass. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Um, Bills Patriots is the AFC one. We'll move on here. I don't want to ramble too long. We're already at 50 minutes. We're looking good to hit under an hour or just at an hour. Conference championship Bills Patriots. We've seen it twice this season. I believe both teams won once. Let me just confirm before I sound like a dummy. I believe both teams won once. Obviously, the Bills had the drastic comeback against the Patriots this season when they were down 21-0 at halftime. The Patriots were just like dominating them. And my dad and I we were watching this game together. We said, the do you have any doubt that the Bills could come back? And we both said, yeah, of course not. Like the Bills 1,000,000% could come back. Not only because they are the comeback kids of sorts, but because you have Josh Allen. And when you have Josh Allen, until you're down 21 with 2 minutes left, I feel like there's a chance to win. Like, until you're pulling your starters, there's always a chance to win when you have a Josh Allen kind of guy in your team. Now, I've got it pulled up here. Let's see. Any day now. So Patriots win the first matchup on October 5th, 23-20. I don't want to box score watch too much, but it helps me. It helps refresh me to remember. Drake May threw no touchdowns, no picks in this game. He had an okay game. Ramondre had 2 touchdowns, but like didn't do anything else. It was goal line stuff. I remember that. Stephon Diggs had a really good game. I do remember this. And Ramondre fumbles. Yep, this is starting to ring a bell here. On Allen's side, I remember his interception. The one interception he threw, and he had a decent game. He was the leading rusher of this team, 53 yards, 250 in the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Kincaid had a really good game here. Curtis Samuel and Keon Coleman were the two touchdown catchers or receivers in this one. Oh, and then let me pull up the other matchup. Come on now. And I do want to shout out Brandon Cooks. I think that he's going to play a huge, huge role in this Bills run if they do go on a long run. I think he's going to be a massive part of it. I mean, we saw that in their last game. He was a big part of their deep ball game when they played the Eagles and when they played the Jets. He is their deep ball guy, especially if Keon Coleman is just not on the team anymore. Like I don't really know what's happening there. I mean, I'm gonna assure you he's not gonna be on the team next year. And I thought he was gonna be a good player coming out of Florida State. I really liked him. But for whatever reason, the rookie who took the city by storm. I love cookies and yeah, whatever. The other game, 35-31, Bills come back and win when they were down 21-0 at half. I mean, 35.5 is just ridiculous. Trayvon Henderson just goes berserk this game. He has a 65-yard touchdown. He had another decent long touchdown. He looked decent as a receiver. So did Stevenson. Mac Hollins was pretty good in this game. I mean, Drake May only threw 14 completions, 155 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in this one as well, though. And Allen, 193 in the air, 3 touchdowns. James Cook had 102 touchdowns on the air. On the ground. My goodness. And I mean, they just spread the ball out like always. Cook had another receiving touchdown in the air. So both these teams won. Funny enough, the Bills won in New England, and the Patriots won in Buffalo. This one is in New England, and it comes down to Patriots are a team. They haven't been proven. They haven't been tested much this season, right? That's the big knock on them, is that they just have not been tested enough this season to be a Super Bowl caliber team, or they've been tested less than your average Super Bowl team at least, right? I'm trying to pull it up again. It's just ESPN is unfortunately a bad app, and it doesn't work about 75%, if not more, percent of the time. So I don't know if this is going to load for me at all, and I'm going to try to ramble through it. But Josh Allen versus Drake May. McDermott versus Vrabel. The two defenses, I lean Patriots defense. I probably lean their offense too. Honestly, I mean, I think they're just a more efficient offense. Um, I don't want to click on this Bills game. I want to be clicking on the Patriots game to check the Patriots schedule. It would be very nice if this ESPN app could work still. But Bills Patriots, I think I know who I want to take. I want to look at the Patriots schedule one last time, just to see which of these games they've been been tested in. They beat the Ravens. I mean, they get to play the Dolphins and the Jets twice, so it's four games that are gimmies. They get to play the Patriots. That's another gimme. They got to play the Bengals and the Bucks and the Falcons and the Browns and the Titans, like the Saints. I mean, they went on a stretch of Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants. Like that is one of the easiest schedules I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. They're headed into the playoffs, 3 game winning streak. What really should have been a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 game winning streak if the Bills did not interrupt it. So that's it could be a 14 game winning streak heading into the playoffs, which I certainly would bet against. I'm leaning the Patriots. I'm leaning the Patriots here. I'm taking one away team, one home team. I'm taking the Patriots. I think I just trust them more than the Bills overall. I think Allen has more to shoulder than Drake May does, and if Allen's foot is gonna cause him some problems, which I think it's going to. I think it's gonna limit his running ability, and I think it's really gonna matter in some of these games, especially the Broncos game. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they lose that Broncos game because Allen can't scramble away from these defenders and these edge rushers. Like Nick Bonito could have his way with Allen if he's gonna be able to if he's just gonna be a pocket passer to a degree. At least less of a running gun kind of guy than he's typically is. Um, so I lean the Patriots, man. Give me New England. New England versus the Rams. This is probably the most chalk Super Bowl possible, which is really unfortunate because I did not have this being the case for most of the season, but it's just how I'm feeling right now. And I think this would be a fantastic game. And even if it's Seattle Bills, Seattle Patriots, Bills Rams, this any combination of these four teams would be a good game. You're gonna get a lot of points. You're gonna get good defense on really any of these four. Good running games for all these teams. Good average plus quarterbacks, right? Um, good to like a good coaching with McDermott, okay coaching, whatever you want to call it, to like absolute top of the league good with Vrabel, McDonald, and McVay. Um, Man, oh man, 5 seed five seed Rams, 2 seed Patriots playing in San Francisco, which is kind of fun because the Rams obviously have played there twice, or played there once a year, I guess, but they played there many times, so it's gonna be somewhat of a home game. They're also closer. Not that it matters because it's just gonna be like LeBron and Bill Gates and whoever else is gonna be there. Um, it's not like real fans go to the Super Bowl anyways. Man, oh man, Rams, Patriots. Who do I lean here? I don't really. I think I know what my mind is leaning. Um, but let me talk through it. So, Stafford, he was so efficient at not turning the ball over all season long, and then he hits the Falcons game, throws 4 interceptions, really just like awful interceptions for most of them, and that game made me a little bit worried. And I was anti Rams going into the season. I had them finishing fourth in the division. And it was because I thought Stafford would get hurt, and I feel like he's shown that a little bit down the stretch. That he's the age, the back tightness, and all that stuff, the soreness, long season for them, really tough division. I mean, the great season they finished as the 5 seed, and they like just barely beat out the Niners. I think that, man, oh man, this is a tough game to pick. I mean, it's the MVP off, right? Drake May versus Stafford, and obviously we would find out the MVP right before this game, the week before. That would put some more stakes onto it because people would say if Stafford wins and the Patriots win the Super Bowl, like Drake May deserved it, and vice versa. Obviously, if May wins the MVP and Stafford were to win the Super Bowl, man, oh man, I think so. Both these defenses are pretty close enough to me that they somewhat cancel each other out. I don't think that it's going to be a defensive game. I think this would be an offensive slated game. Um, and it comes down to which quarterback I trust more, which is honestly pretty close. I really think Drake May is as good as it gets, and Stafford's been playing at that level this season as well. Um, And man, I mean, this Patriots offensive line. I mean, they're getting back Will Campbell. Like that's it could be big, but man, oh man, man, man. I I lean the Rams. I'll say that. I'm leaning the Rams. I'm picking the Rams, and the reasoning is, I mean, they got Puka, Kyron, Devontae Adams. This their like quartet of tight ends they have is also been pretty impressive to me this season. And I just trust the Rams in crunch time. I think Stafford is about as cold as it gets when the game's on the line. I trust him with the ball in his hands to get me a field goal or to score me a touchdown, whatever he needs to do. And not to say that I don't trust Drake May of that, but I think this is sort of where the games over 500 teams comes into play. They could beat the Bills because they've played them twice already this season. They've beaten them once already this season. That's a familiar opponent. They can beat the Chargers because that's not an impossible team to face. It's probably the easiest team besides the Steelers to face in the wild card round. And then I think they could beat the Texans because the Texans have a really lackluster offense, and I think the Patriots' defense is good enough to somewhat thwart their offense. And I think the Patriots' offense is good enough to score enough points against that crazy good Texans defense to to beat out the Texans offense. But then you beat the Rams, and I think it's just a different beast. I think you beat through the AFC teams, um, but I think the NFC is just stronger this season. I trust the NFC team coming out, whether it's Seattle, whether it's the Rams, whether it's the Niners, maybe the Bears. I trust them a little bit less, certainly. If it's Bears Patriots, I probably lean the Patriots. If it's Niners Patriots, I probably go Patriots. Honestly, if it's Seattle Patriots, though, I think I probably take Seattle here. Because it's Rams Pats, give me the Rams. I just trust them more. I think Stafford is on his way to a 38-year-old first time MVP, which is just astonishing. It's just incredible that he's able to do that. Um, and I think he's on his way to a second Super Bowl, which I mean, I think MVP puts him to the Hall of Fame. I think two Super Bowls easily puts him into the Hall of Fame. A Super Bowl MVP, I would assume, unless Puka does something similar to what Cup did, which I mean, he's done that all season long. But if he has a similar Super Bowl performance to what Cup did, I could see him snagging the MVP away from Stafford. But yeah, I lean the Rams over the Patriots. I think it would be a great, great, great Super Bowl. Um, and I think, like I said, I think any of the combination of the Final Four that I had would be a pretty fun game to end off the season, which has been a great, great NFL season, man. This one went by very fast. It's kind of crazy that I'm doing my playoff predictions. It feels like the season that just started. My first semester, South Carolina just started, but it went by quick. It was a great season. I really enjoyed it. And I'll be back to summarize the video and to close it out. I'll be back. I'll try to make some more videos soon. I've got NBA trade deadline coming up. Got a bunch of NFL coaches just got fired. John Harbaugh got fired, which thank God, shocker. But I'm surprised. I'm very happy though. He's probably likely to be the Giants head coach. I'm okay with it. Trey Young just got traded tonight to the Wizards. I love the fit for the Wizards. I can't believe they gave up CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. It's actually unbelievable. Um, and yeah, man, I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm excited. This is going to be a really exciting one, and I don't know. It could be one of the better playoffs we've seen in some time because it's. I think there's a valid argument for most of these teams, if not all of them, to be a Super Bowl contender or winner this season. Which most years you can't say that. Um, but outside of that, I think that's really all I've got for you. Probably I'll talk some NBA eventually. I got it. I got a lot of takes. I gotta get off my chest, especially about my Thunder right now, man. What a disaster we're turning into. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be all from me. And until next time, make sure to hit the subscribe, like, comment down below, share with your mom, dad, cousin, girlfriend, grandma, dog, cat, everybody, your neighbor, everybody, your middle school teacher, whoever else. And yeah, see you next time. Peace out.